There's been an awakening. Have you felt it?
On archive security. Reflect on your actions, you can, Padawan.
It doesn't show up in the archive charts. Perhaps the archives are incomplete.
Bulky religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
You know what I've come for. And now you're going to give it to the First Order. Archives of the Force.
Welcome, guys, to the Archives of the Force podcast. I am your host, Edward Merced, the only Star Wars podcast in the galaxy you should be listening to. I want to thank you for everyone who's listening, and remember, guys, if you like this show, tell us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Tell us in the comments below. We would love to hear from all the fans from around the globe. I know there's a lot. I've seen it. You guys are fantastic. It's a special episode. Of course, we're on video. What is this? We're on video. It's happening. Basically, we decided to do video and see how it turns out. I don't know if it's gonna work, but worst things has happened. Episode 2. So yeah, it's a special episode. We have our guest Dominic Pace. And the back end of the episode, we recorded that and we'll present it to you at the end. But there was a couple things that I want to check out first. Just a little bit of news and the new Squadrons gameplay trailer. I have not seen this. I didn't even know this was out until like a couple days ago. So, I mean, I was going to do the High Republic stuff, but I think I'll save that for next week. Read that first chapter and then give you my thoughts on there. Really let it sink in so that way, because this week I haven't had time. It was just crazy. So, yeah, first things first. Have you guys heard about the Marvel comic book Battle Tales? Let me make sure that's exactly what it's called. Battle Tales, yeah. So number 2 has Asajj Ventress and Dooku versing Obi-Wan and Anakin, which is kind of cool. I guess they fought a couple times, but this would be a new one, so it makes it canon, which is pretty dope. Disney is reopening. Well, as theaters reopen, Disney is definitely coming out with select movies that's already been come out in the past, but they just want to re-release it, and The Empire Strikes Back is one of them, which is fantastic. I'm gonna go watch it in the theater. Freak yes. Hell yeah. The Force Awakens is also coming out. A couple other things like Disney, like, the Avengers, Iron Man, stuff like that. So that should be a real treat for people who've been stuck in the house or just haven't been able to do anything because of the coronavirus plaguing the galaxy. So that should be really good for that. So hopefully I get to watch it. I don't know if it'll be near me, but hopefully there's somewhere closer that I'll be able to watch. Dr. Alfred number 2 is coming out. Definitely going to see that. July 10th is Empire Strikes Back? Wow indeed. You know what? That's going to be a birthday present to myself. Which is that sad? I don't know, but I think it's pretty funny. I think it's pretty hilarious. Yeah. Alright, let's get into this trailer. Just a couple things I wanted to see, but let's see. Let me see. Star Wars Squadron gameplay. Oh my god. I'm pretty excited for this. I didn't think this was coming out. Oh my god, that looks great. So I didn't think this was coming out like this because they just announced it. So I don't even know what I'm gonna see in this. I could see like the what is it, the screenshots or whatever, like I can see how it looks. It looks kind of crazy, but I'm excited. Hopefully, what do I want? Like from the game, I want like strictly dogfighting, like Ace Combat, but with Star Wars. I want that. I guess some story to it. I want customizable things. Like, can I customize my X-Wing? That'd be dope. I don't know. Hopefully something along those lines. It has to be good. It has to be good. Like, you know, it's Star Wars. So it's gonna be good, right? I don't know. Let's see this gameplay trailer. Let me see. Alright, I'm about to start this. Let me see. Everything's working. Everything's good. Alright. You guys ready? I'm ready. Ooh, Jesus. Ooh. Okay. Is that gameplay?
The second Death Star is gone, but the Imperial fleet is still a threat.
Okay.
Vanguard Squadron.
Vanguard. That's cool.
This is it, Titan Squadron. Everything we've done has led
Titan Squadron?
to finish those Vanguard scum. This is Star Wars Squadrons.
Ooh, a voiceover.
Wings in a single-player story spanning 2 factions.
That's Ray Sloan, right?
Fire on that ship!
Oh, man.
And master multiplayer battles as a squadron of 5. With the option to play the entire game in VR.
Did he just drift?
This is the definitive Star Wars pilot experience. Come on.
Oh, my God.
You'll begin your
Yo.
career in a single-player story.
Welcome to Titan Squadron.
Where
Titan
you'll play as 2
Squadron.
combat pilots, flying for both the Empire and the New
Whoa. This looks amazing.
Republic. You'll experience this world through your cockpit. The
Whoa.
instrumentation in front of you provides critical feedback about power management, targeting.
Yo, that's crazy.
With a squadron of diverse characters at your side, prove your skills on increasing.
Oh my God. Yo, this shit is fucking drifted, dude. What the fuck?
Hello, Vanguard. Welcome
Hera.
to your dockyard.
One of my spies has linked the attacks with the New Republic Starhawk project.
Starhawk. What the fuck is that?
The 2 pilots you play stick together will shape the balance.
Oh my God, they have like a green X-Wing.
Get ready.
Let him have it.
Whoa.
To take the fight online, you'll need flight time with all 8 ships.
8?
Fighters are the most flexible.
Oh.
and versatile, able to
These are
handle
X-Wings?
any situation.
Yo, dude, that's crazy.
Interceptors are fast and
Okay.
highly maneuverable.
That's what I thought
Let's
those
get
were.
'em. Ideal for hunting down your opponent's starfighters.
Damn, dude.
Support ships can keep
Support.
allies
Oh, TIE Reaper.
stocked up,
Not
as well
Silencer.
as disrupting
U-Wing.
enemy
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
Nice.
fighters. Bombers are the heavy hitters.
Alright.
Able
Yeah,
to
yeah.
deal devastating damage to enemies.
Dude, look at the fucking.
Starfighters.
Oh my
Got
God.
a preferred component? Need something customized? I'll take care of it.
Unlock everything you need to customize your
Yo!
simply by playing the game. From cosmetics to
Is that a Funko?
over 50 components that alter how your ships fly,
What the fuck?
fight, and survive.
They're on you!
Yo,
You can dramatically
dude,
change
that
your
drifting
loadout
shit is
and
crazy.
squadron strategy. Finally got him. This will be critical in Star Wars.
Oh,
Squadrons
what's up with the
multiplayer
modes? Yo,
First,
yeah!
fights.
Dogfight, alright, that's
This is an
dope.
all-out 5v5 battle.
I'm getting this shit.
Fine-tune your loadouts to work as a team.
Moving in on the enemy.
Utilize components like
Yo,
tractor
tractor
beams,
beams?
and mines to slow down your opponents or set up your squad mates for the kill.
Yo, I'm gonna dominate in this fucking game.
For teams looking for an even greater challenge, it's time to prove yourself in Star Wars Squadrons.
Can you be a Mon Calamari?
Fleet battles are multi-stage conflicts.
I want to be an Akbar.
Or with friends, you'll have the option.
Dude, I want to drive that U-Wing.
Players or AI as a squadron of 5.
Don't worry, I got him for you.
Meet your team in the social hub to solidify strategy, coordinate loadouts.
Cad Bane's people. Is that the dude from Battlefront?
First, push the front line by winning the dogfight in the center of the map. Next, attack or defend 2 medium-sized
Yo, what? That's the ship Luke and Leia was on.
And finally, the ultimate goal. Target and destroy the subsystems of your opponent's massive flagship and take it down.
No way, dude. This is crazy. Yo, that's nuts. I kind of like goosebumps. This is way... I want to play this right now.
Speedy, unrelenting assaults.
Stay together, strike quickly.
Stealth
Oh
and
my
subversion.
god, dude. Oh! Cut corners and shit. Yo, you gotta give me the Millennium Falcon. Oh my god.
Unified squadron is the key to victory. Making my attack run now. Let's make this count.
Get in the shit.
This is Star Wars Squadrons. Join the galaxy's finest and make your mark.
You are the hope of this galaxy.
Oh my god. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa, that was crazy. Nah, son. That's nuts. Yo. That's probably gonna be my favorite game. That reminds me of like Rogue Squadron, TIE Fighter, those kind of games that we fell in love with. Oh my god, this is crazy. The customizable stuff, the little Funko thing. Oh my god, that's crazy. And then you could customize what the person wears. Like you could be a green squadron, blue squadron. I'm gonna go with the blue because I love the blue squadron. Shout out to Rogue One. Those are my guys. That space battle was crazy. Damn, that's wow. I'm looking forward to this shit. I'm definitely looking forward to this game. Whew. That's oh my god, that's right. Speaking about Funkos, this is what I just got in the mail. Oh my god, I can't even process right now. Good thing I have the Dominic Pace because oh my god, I cannot. I need the game now. But check this out. For audio listeners, I'm showing. Look at that. Baby Yoda. The 10-inch. This thing is humongous. Okay? Look at this. I have a Dobby, and I thought that was huge. Dude, this is huge. This is a box for like a game system. Okay? Look at this thing. When I ordered that, I didn't think it was going to be like, the fucking ears are weapons. But that's pretty cool, though, too. That Baby Yoda shit. Okay, so I'm just going to lead into the interview. Dominic Pace, Bounty Hunter Gekko. It was a good interview. The audio is a little much, like for a minute and a half, and then it flattens out and you're all good. All good. So there's that. And I guess I'll see you when you get back. I don't know. But here's the cool. And guys, thank you for joining us on this episode of the Archives of the Force podcast. he's been in many roles, a lot of guest appearances on stuff like Superstore, Barry, even Prison Break. But this is a Star Wars show, and we do love our Star Wars indeed. He was labeled as Bounty Hunter Gekko in The Mandalorian. It is our guest for today, Dominic Pace.
Hey, how are you? Thanks so much for having me. Hello to all your listeners.
Yeah, wonderful to have you. Thank you for doing this. Mandalorian, people were mixed about how it was gonna end up being, but this is like one of the best Star Wars things to ever come out of anything. How do you feel being a part of it now that it's grown to its own show? It has a season 2 coming. There's even a behind the scenes show about it. How do you feel being a part of it?
Oh, it's beyond words. You know, I've as you mentioned, you know, I have a number of credits through my career, you know, over the last 20 plus years. I grew up in the 80s, so, you know, the directors like George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, Robert Zemeckis, you know, Joe Dante, Richard Donner, those were my inspirations. As much as every actor wants to have an Academy Award, for me it was about the action, the adventure, and specifically Star Wars. When I was 4 years old, 5 years old, I had my first Cantina playset. I collected all throughout my life. I have been waiting online even in 1999 with all the other Star Wars fans when everybody's waiting online at midnight for the Toys R Us release of the episode 1 figures. I had a life-size Han Solo and Carbonite. I've been a collector and a fan ever since day one, so it really meant so much. Not to mention, you know, John and Dave really seem very much like one of us in regards to being a fan. So it's just, I think it's just a great time to be a Star Wars fan in so many ways. And again, to have had this honor from a company, a makeup company, one of the best in Hollywood, best in Atlanta and New York, called Legacy Effects, to put so much work into my character, so much detail, where they could have just thrown me together, just thrown some green makeup on me that morning. Brian Sipe is the head of Legacy Effects. Hopefully he's going to win a ton of awards. He not only did me, but he did all of the stars that had prosthetics in The Mandalorian Season 1. But it just, the whole entire experience was beyond words in September of 2018. And we're hopeful that Gekko will have a long future in canon there.
You're talking about all the past stuff with Star Wars. I mean, like Snaggletooth, IG-88. These are well-known characters that are in the blood of Star Wars. And, you know, you notice them because they were different. And I think with Gekko, you're about, what, like 6'4", 6'5"?
6'4", I have the shape of, like, Jason from Friday the 13th.
And you standing next to you standing next to Carl Weathers, and he's like 6 feet himself, being a big bounty hunter, that's noticeable. Like, that's stuff, like, you know, I'm like, I'm 6, that I could relate to that character, you know. So it's something that broadens the spread of Star Wars to different kinds of people as well.
Absolutely, without question. You know, we're not bashful. I'm Italian, so we're not bashful at the card table there. Pasta and the beer and the burgers and pizza. So, you know, I think a lot of fans are like me, big burly guys. And I mean, the big dream right now, I just got some great news from one of the head illustrators and creators of a new comic book for Marvel called Star Wars Bounty Hunters. But he's doing everything he can to get in there. I just got that news this morning. But more importantly, we're hopeful that Hasbro or Black Series or Funko Pop will pick me up. It's one of those things to where, just like with Boba or the original Bounty Hunters, you don't realize, even the original creators, how one character might become more popular than another. But I'm just hoping that we gain their attention. We're doing a big campaign next month with a major tour through all the crazy conditions of this country. But, you know, you may not be able to get 100% behind any of the presidential campaign, but I think you can get behind Bounty Hunter campaign. To at least want to be part of the lore and to continue on my character, because I've been such a good fan, and I think I'm a pretty solid actor there as well.
Yeah, of course. I've seen some of your work in not even in Mandalorian, other things. I mean, if you were to make it to the Black Series, that's like, you know, that's like one of the dreams, to have like a toy or figure, because everybody remembers the Kenner line or the Power of the Force, the 1995 line, and to have yourself immortalized in like that kind of medium would be like fantastic. Even the comic you just said would be amazing. If I was in your shoes, that's exactly what Star Wars fans always dream about, and you're living it out.
And it's crazy because this is the only universe, even aside from Marvel or DC, to where the most expensive figures have been the most rare and on screen for the least amount of time. I think Blue Snaggletooth, I don't even know if you've even seen. Yak Face was on for less than 1 minute. A Monomon was on for less than 3 seconds, So it really is something that's so interesting. Just the fact that, some of the side characters or smaller characters get so much attention. But we're hopeful. And again, I can't thank Brian Sipe enough for putting that detail in, as well as Stephen Poro, who was an amazing costume designer, who designed Gekko there from the outside in. So fingers crossed. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean the secondary third, string characters. Like I was watching the gallery on Disney Plus, and Will Ford Hood, the one guy that's running with the ice machine, thousands of people dress up as him, and you never know. In 10, maybe 5 to 10 years, there's gonna be just a crowd of geckos. And how would you feel if you saw that?
I'd be beyond words, because the thing for me, the reason I wanted to get into this business was to inspire people in a great way. During this COVID crisis, they had something called Cameo, where celebrities, get paid to wish happy birthday or to say hi. Now, granted, for my autograph and, for different merchandise, of course, we sell that. But at the same time, for me to be able to extend myself and make a video for a kid and make their day, or somebody going through a hard time, just because Star Wars means so much to people, to be a positive ambassador. I always have been involved in charities. It just means the world to be able to be an example of that. So much, I mean, literally, I think I'm the first Star Wars actor who actually put a tattoo of my character on my shoulder. That's how much I believe in the character.
That's awesome.
And that's how much Star Wars there. And not to mention, most importantly, giving back and making other people feel good through the joy of this universe.
Oh my God, that's awesome. What I wanted to know was the name Gekko, because I think it wasn't, you were just like a random hunter, and why did they call you Gekko? Why was the name Gekko, chosen?
That's a great question. Brian Sipe, 2 years prior, did a Greenpeace project in Atlanta, and he created this was a 90-pound female model. I have a couple pictures I'm happy to show you there, where they actually had bumps on the model's head, very similar to a Gekko, but it was the same paint pattern that inspired him to create my paint pattern on my face. So you have that little patch of white in the middle, and then you have the black on the sides. Now, funny story about the bumps. It was supposed to be bumps, and when I did the screen test for Dave and John and Deborah, nobody spoke up, but I heard some of the bounty hunters like kind of snickering, and I was like, "What's so funny?" And they're like, "Dude, not to say anything," I said, "but your bumps, I know that they did it, inspired from a Gekko, but they look like you have boobs on your head." So I went to Brian right afterwards, and again, I have no pull at all, but I just politely said, "Hey, if you can, I'm 6'4". This mask looks so awesome." I said, "I don't care if you make me a Zabrak, or if you could do something," because Monday was the first day we were going to film. And nobody said a word, but I said, if you could just maybe adjust this to maybe horns, I said, I think that would be really, really awesome. So that's where the nickname came from. We were on set for 2 weeks. And again, it's just a nickname right now. But just like Pinocchio, to where he becomes a real live boy, I think the comic from Marvel or an action figure will make that name official. And we'll be off to the races. And I have a really good feeling that they will.
Well, yeah, I mean, before... I'm pretty sure on IMDb it has Gekko under your name. So
yeah, no, without question. And then even Brian, I mean, everyone has sort of established that in the 501st. Has and obviously they're very connected to Lucasfilm. But really just to get that perfect immortalization from either a comic book or from an action figure,
to actually see it, yeah.
Continue on with the series. That's where it will be official. But that's where the nickname comes from. And nobody has stopped it. I mean, I think Dave and John, being fans like we are, they love the detail and they love the backstory of all different side characters. So I think they've been happy with that, and I think Brian has been too. Just the fact that, again, I would have gotten some emails from the Disney camp by now already. So Gekko the Bounty Hunter.
Oh no, it's look. The names of things in Star Wars are part of it as well. I mean, there's always 3 aspects. There's music, names, and the way things look. I mean, look at that. It's anything with a mask is great.
Yeah.
Because
it's a good story. It's a funny story about that, in that I was late for set because my makeup took so long, as well as the costume. And one of the assistant costume designers misplaced the mask. And I said, I didn't want to go without the mask. I said, as much as, actors, maybe some people, if they get a chance to be in the Star Wars universe, say, oh, wow, I want my face to be seen. I said, there's no way. I said, the masks, when you talk about Two Tubes or you talk about Plo Koon, so many great side characters, the masks are really signature, not to mention Darth Vader, with the Star Wars universe. I always say that even if, if I end up, they extend my character, I want him to sort of speak Huttese in a deep, one of those deep options, very similar to Jabba, because for me, the more detail you can add to the character as far as to go otherworldly, I enjoy that when I see Star Wars because it really takes you to another place. So I wouldn't even want to use my own voice if I were to voice the character.
I don't.
I'd love to see it.
I don't think any character in Star Wars, unless it's like a mouse droid or something of that, anything that has a mask usually has a deep voice. So I think that would fit. I mean, that would be awesome. I mean, I hope so. The character looks awesome. Your blaster looks fantastic.
Thank you.
Just all around. But really quickly, going back to before you started shooting, what drew you to the project? Did you know it was Star Wars? Was it labeled something else?
I'm a blue collar actor. I take every job under the sun. My agents have advised me years prior, hey, once we book a major guest star on television or I had a recurring on Superstore, they want to try to pitch for higher roles. And I respect that. At the end of the day, I have to work tomorrow. I have to work next week. You have to work next week. Yeah. So if you're not on set, you have to do any odd job in town. And to be honest, I will take every odd job as well to put food on my table, but I would rather be on set. So it wasn't really me deciding. It was just the fact that I accepted a makeup test that normally an actor at my level wouldn't do because it came from a secondary casting company to where when you have guest stars like I do, a lot of actors are like, no, I'm kind of above that. I take everything. I enjoy being on set. I have, if you want to judge me because I've done, something where it doesn't, it's non-speaking or it's uncredited, go right ahead. For me, I'm always confident in my ability. If you're a cashier at Walmart, I don't disrespect you in terms of, what your potential is in terms of your future and your success. If you're, you're checking out people at a, I could be anywhere, at a nightclub or what have you. That's, you're holding on to your dream. So anyone who's in the workplace, I respect you. That's how it came about, in that I did not turn down a job for a makeup test. I had previous prosthetic experience with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., with Bright, with Will Smith, and then also I doubled on Van Helsing. I was doubling Frankenstein opposite Hugh Jackman in 2002, where I had some of the thick prosthetics of Frankenstein. So we just hit it off. I always believe in just having a positive attitude, being humble, and that will you get more bees with honey. And thankfully, it ended up becoming a dream of a lifetime.
Wow, that's awesome. Man. Prosthetics. I've always been into that realm of just let's see how crazy we could get it to look, or this and that. But once you did the prosthetic test, from there to shooting, how was the process?
It was 2 weeks. There was no 2 weeks before I heard anything, and there was no promise of a job to begin with. I had no idea it was associated with Star Wars at that time. I thought Marvel was just really aggressive with spinning off with different ideas and different shows. I was just hopeful that, oh wow, this might be a regular gig for a month or two. So this will be a great little steady way to work. But there was no promise whatsoever once I left that room that there would be any work. All I did was politely give my business card. I thanked Brian very much for the opportunity to have a day's pay. And that was it. When I got invited, I still didn't know because the project was nicknamed the Huckleberry. That was the nickname of the project. The Mandalorian nickname, for those who don't know, was called Huckleberry. And I get in, I sign this non-disclosure agreement, not to talk about any of the story until it comes out. And even then,
true.
It has little restrictions here and there. But I see Lucasfilm on the top, and the first thing that came to my mind was that, oh my God, I think I'm going to be in Boba Fett, the movie, because I started seeing a few little helmets here and there. So I'm like, they're going to make a Boba Fett movie, And then when I went inside and little by little started learning more and more, but when I saw my name next on this clothing rack, it said Dominic Pace Bounty Hunter, my hands just went numb. It was just beyond words because, again, it was just a dream come true for a Generation X Star Wars fan.
Yeah, I mean, I bet. Just out of nowhere, and you see the name Star Wars, already heart starts palpitating. You're like, wait, hold on, where am I? I don't get this. You said that you're from New York, correct?
That's correct. I was born and raised in White Plains, New York. I grew up in Ossining, New York, famous for their prison, Sing Sing prison.
Yeah.
And I studied in New York City in the mid-'90s. It was a great time to be in New York City at that time, before the attacks, sadly enough. And then I came out here with a movie called For Love of the Game. I was just a featured ball player on Kevin Costner's team. But baseball, as you can see behind me, was one of my first dreams. So it was almost like God blessing me in two ways, with Star Wars, and then also I got to play in the major leagues. So in For Love of the Game, the second assistant director invited me out to Los Angeles for 5 days to shoot. And my wife already had family out here. Her family is in the fishing business down in San Pedro as well as in Alaska. And we moved out here. I got my first film with Miramax in 2000. And from there on in, just a steady diet of a lot of crime dramas, co-stars and guest stars. A lot of shows that people are familiar with there.
Yeah, I'm a fellow New Yorker. I was born in Brooklyn, Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And I moved here. Sure. Yeah, and I moved here. I moved here March 2002 after the attacks.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, there was in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. I was just starting off when I was studying, but I was one of the mob guys. And Analyze This, I remember out in Brooklyn there, and also Al Pacino in Williamsburg. We also took part in City Hall, which was a movie he did back in the mid '90s there. So good memories of Brooklyn there.
Wow, that's cool. Well, as I guess I could segue to actors, because I do love all things movies and film and TV and stuff. For a working actor, what do you think it's the best quality to have? Do you think it's like endurance, just to make it through day by day, because you never know when you might have a job, or your job might be a long job where you'll have like months of work?
Well, this business usually gets associated with ego, and the irony is, in order to have that endurance, you cannot have any ego at all. There are about 3 or 4 apps now on your phone to where you can do independent contracting. So whether you're driving for Uber or working for Instacart, or you're working for a friend who owns a moving company, or waiting tables, or they have red carpet event setups. It's to be able to deal with the undulation of an inconsistent paycheck. The reason that most people quit is because you say, oh, wow, all of a sudden you're making $1,000 a week doing something you kind of like, but you're really not crazy about. But you get that steady paycheck, and a lot of people end up succumbing to that boss for the rest of your life, which, again, you can't blame them, because, again, you have to make a living, but it's to be able to deal with the inconsistencies of a paycheck. And if you can do that, you're able to have that flexibility, because what ends up happening is those opportunities, Edward, they come tomorrow. They come, I'll get a call at 9 o'clock, say, hey, they need you over at Fox at 10 a.m. for an audition. They change the script, and that's how you end up getting your roles, because you're available in a moment's notice. Okay. So it's really having that flexibility and the confidence that you have your costs low, you have small space, so you're able to still make ends meet, but also at the same time you have to keep your flexibility, and you cannot have any ego doing all these humbling jobs in between the 15 minutes of fame. Where I end up getting a nice guest star every couple of months from putting in the work.
That's good, man. And that's to say any job. You put in the work, the fruits of your labor do show. Getting back to Star Wars, what do you think, where do you think the future of Star Wars lies? Because there's a lot of people hate, like, The Last Jedi, or, people aren't fond of, like, Star Wars Rebels or something. Where do you think the next 10 years of Star Wars, what are we going to see? What's going to excite us? What do you think might not be an ideal thing to do, or stuff like that?
I've been asked this question before, and I said it's not so much the era, it's not so much the story, it's not so much the era or the character themselves, as far as, I want to see Han Solo, or I want to see Darth Vader. It's really the substance of the story that matters. And exactly. I think that Dave honestly has invested quite a bit, whether we like it or not. I enjoy them. Clone Wars and with Rebels, I'd like to believe that he's going to go and really bring these characters to life, which in and of itself is sort of magical. You've been watching this animated version of Ahsoka or a Satine or some of these characters, Thrawn.
Yeah.
But most importantly, I think that John and Dave understand the importance of a texture and a beautiful arc of a story as opposed to sometimes with some of the stories, doesn't have to necessarily be Star Wars, but if it's just all flashing lights and, maybe they're trying to push some kind of a agenda in one way or another that really doesn't have to do necessarily with, the storyline that we really enjoy within the Star Wars universe, which is about hope, about family, about believing in yourself, and about, sort of the mythology of life within your own craft. That's when I think they tend to lose us. But I'd like to believe that he's going to intertwine a lot of Rebels and Clone Wars and really make these characters rich. And I think that John and Dave truly understand that the importance of Star Wars is really relying on the depth of characters. And I think they obviously, we saw that firsthand with the first season of Mandalorian.
I've always thought that too. I mean, Darth Vader looks cool, but the journey from Luke being a farm boy to a regular every guy to becoming this warrior, but at the heart of it, it's just him wanting to save his father.
Yes.
And
if you have those parallels to life, which I think makes it so magical. And as long as they stay with that, I think Star Wars is going to be on a beautiful track.
Yeah, I mean, Jon Favreau taking over, Dave Filoni has done marvelous job. Even with the Mandalorian, how he's a hardened, anti-hero criminal, but then this baby shows up, and then it kind of reminds him of what happened in his life. So I agree. If Star Wars keeps on giving us relatable stories, then people will show up to watch all that stuff. You said you were a huge fan, so I want to know what's the most obscure thing you have from Star Wars. Like the one thing that you can never sell. It's way too close to your heart, but it could be nerdy. Star Wars.
I'm in the process of I have the Han Solo blaster. I've been going on Etsy shopping around for a Wookiee bowcaster. And I'd like to have that shadow box frame with the autograph of both Peter Mayhew as well as Han Solo, Harrison Ford, to be able to frame that. I got an offer that I could not refuse of my blaster, 2 custom figures of myself and Grief Karga, Carl Weathers, with both our autographs and some of the props from the Mandalorian. Times are tough right now, so I'm selling that to a bidder in Iowa, but I have the capability of recreating it.
Yeah.
But that piece, I'm happy to show your viewers. I have a little instructional video on Instagram, or not instructional, but a display video that I was happy to post about a month ago, putting this whole piece together. And obviously, I think every Star Wars fan would love to immortalize their own character within a shadow box frame there. So I would say that, but I'll tell you, these days, this time right now, I mean, it just, if the price is right, I'm willing to part with it there.
That's cool. I mean, the times we're in, they're crazy times. Let's be honest. But yeah, that's why I always have to ask, because Star Wars, they always have the weirdest merchandise that you would never think of. Like, I know someone has a Colt 45 signed by Billy D. Williams.
I have the original 73 figures, and I tell my kids, I said, please, if when I pass away, I said, please just try to, hold on to these things, even if your kids don't care about it, because that I have not sold those.
Yeah, the things that really just we've tried to hold on to, you hope that when you're gone, someone at least takes care of it in your family, because you don't want it to, if it's going to go to a museum, maybe, but, it's like, it's a family heirloom then.
They've got a really funny meme where it's a hearse and it's a U-Haul in the back. It's like me taking my Star Wars toys with me to my grave, because I don't trust anyone and nobody deserves them. So, who knows? They're going to have that U-Haul in the back, and they're going to bury me with my lightsaber there.
Oh man, trust me. I have a 3 feet Millennium Falcon from the Hasbro, the 2012, the vintage line, and I can't part ways with that. Like, I think maybe anything else, but it's just some things. It's just I wish to have that as a kid. That's why I think that's why mostly anybody collects anything. It's you wanted it as a kid.
Galaxy. Have you been to Galaxy's Edge yet?
Yes, I did. I went the 3rd week it was open. But I'm in Florida, so the heat was like Tatooine. It was hot, and the line was crazy for the Millennium Falcon ride. But the other one wasn't open yet.
Yeah, okay, yeah, because seeing that life size, I was just in awe. I remember how many times I lifted the back lid up, to put my figures in and such, and to see the life size version of that, I just had to have a moment with my kids because I just couldn't believe it. When you play that lotto ticket, you always dream and say, okay, I'm gonna have a life size Millennium Falcon in my backyard. Actually see it, in real life as opposed to just the dream. It really was amazing there.
Yeah. Did you see it at night and in the day?
No, unfortunately, just during the daytime. But that's a good point. I'd love to go back and experience that.
At night they have it all lit up, and Chewie's in the cockpit.
Oh my God! You're kidding me.
No, he's in the cockpit.
Wow.
Yeah, because my dad was like, "Oh wow, this is," because my dad's like, he's like, it's just like a box with stuff in it, But then when he saw it, he was like, "Wow, this is amazing." And then we waited at night and came back, and it was just beautiful. It had like smoke coming out the back tail lights, and just it looked like it was getting gas, and I was like, man, this is amazing.
Sure, they did a great job. I always said, even with the Rise of Resistance, the other ride, I would love to see them do it with I'd love to see them do that with Episode 4. To have them do the entire experience where you start off with Luke, but then just kind of go all the way to the Death Star, and you find yourself into an X-Wing and you go into Beggar's Canyon with all this new technology. I would love to see that someday.
Yeah, because I've seen like videos of Rise of Resistance, and I'm like, that's cool, but there's like something, a part of me that's like, it's cool that it has Rey and Kylo, but if it had like Luke and Vader, I think the ride would be like 10 times better.
Yes.
I mean, hopefully I could go on it maybe at the end of the year when things start opening back up, hopefully, because and then it just, the products there, just, I want to buy everything. It's...
man, even Cantina too, all the drinks, we're like, we don't even know what the heck we bought. It was like $80. We're like, fine, take our money,
Yeah, I was like, blue milk, green milk, I don't care which one it is, just give me all of it. So everybody, I want you to make sure you go see The Mandalorian. If you haven't already, go check out Dominic Pace in there as Bounty Hunter Gekko. That will be the name. I hope so. It's a great name. Come on, it has to be. And I want to thank you for joining us. Hopefully we can get you back over here and just talk Star Wars all day. Just nerd out, about ships, comics, all that stuff. Again, guys, go on Instagram, Dominic Pace 1. Instagram and Facebook, go check him out. But thank you again for coming on. I appreciate it, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely. All the best, everyone, and hope everyone stays safe. May the Force be with you.
Thank you. May the Force be with you. All right, guys, that was the interview. Thank you to Dominic Pace for joining us. Hopefully we'll have him soon. Definitely going to meet him in the upcoming weeks when he comes to Florida. At Flynn's Arcade, they're going to be doing a signing around the 31st of July. Shout out to them. I want to thank everybody that stayed tuned, that's looking on YouTube, and also listening on Podbean, iTunes, all that. Remember to write us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Remember, it's Archives Podcast now, not AOTF anymore. I changed it so it could be a little bit easier. And Archives of the Force on every other platform as well. I just want to thank you again, like I said, to Dominic Pace and everybody for listening. And may the Force be with you.